Hi, my name is Michael Wagner. I'm the West Coast rep for Dynamax.
And I'm Jared Graver. I'm the Central Territory Sales Rep for Dynamax.
And today we're going to be discussing the procedure for setting up at the campground.
In a Freightliner of Dynamax, you're always going to have a manual air dump switch. That's for the air ride rear suspension. That'll dump those airbags so that the leveling system can do its job. All right, first things first, we're going to turn our lights on. So here at the Firefly panel, we're going to hit our master disconnect, and then we're going to hit the master lights on. That's going to bring everything up. And then there's the age-old question, what do you do first? Do you do the slides first or the jacks first? Well, we'll answer that today. You're always going to do your jacks first. So here we have our auto leveling system control panel. You're going to press power and then auto level. And then as you can hear, the coach is going to begin to level itself.
All right, now that our jacks are down, our next step is going to be to operate our slides. Before operating our slides, you definitely want to make sure that you walk around your unit and to make sure that there is no interference by anything at the campground. In order to operate your slides, we need to make sure that the engine is running and your park brake is on. So I'm going to climb up in the cab. So now we climb up inside our DX3 or our DynaQuest XL. Two things that need to happen in order for us to run our slides is that the parking brake must be set on. In this instance, we are already parked, and so there's really no choice but to have that already engaged. And the second is that we need to have the engine turned on, and in fact we recommend that we actually crank the engine just so the alternator will give it more power to be able to operate the slides. So we'll fire this up. Okay, you'll hear those jacks beeping, and that again is just because we ran the jacks first. That's completely normal. So I'm going to head over to the Firefly panel next so we can run those slides in and out. Okay, so I'm over at the Firefly panel, which on this floor plan is located in the hallway, and that'll depend on your floor plan. So here I'll hit the slide button. This right here says park brake must be set and a power source of either shore, generator, or engine running is required to operate the slides. So we already touched on this. The park brake has already been set. We really recommend that the engine be running, and that's the way that you're going to be able to run these slides correctly. If leveling, start and stop button needs to be in accessory mode, and the park brake will need to be set. So we're already set, we're ready to go, but this just again gives you that warning to make sure that we're all level and that your engine is running, your park brake is on. So now we hit confirm. What's nice about this Firefly panel is that it will show and color code your slides. So our bed slide here is in purple, our front slide is in green. We're going to extend the front slide first so we have a little bit more room to operate inside here. So now that our front slide is open, now we are going to open the purple slide, which is the bed slide. So over here we'll hit the EXT for extend. So now that our jacks are down and our slides are open, now we need to turn off that engine so we don't have that annoying beeping sound from our jacks. And then we'll begin to open up our awning and get set up for our campsite. To get rid of that beeping sound from the jacks now that the engine's off, simply open the door and the beeping will stop. Now that our jacks are down and our slides are open, we'd also like to open the awning on this unit. On a DX3 and a DynaQuest XL, we need to make sure that the inverter's on to be able to run the awning. So next, we'll go from this page here that we were just at with our slides. We're going to hit the little lightning bolt to get to our electrical. Then you'll see inverter, and right now it's showing disabled. Right now we are not plugged into anything. We don't have the generator running, but this has a 3,000 watt inverter, and we'd like to turn that on. So we're gonna hit inverter disabled, and now it is enabled. And you're gonna hear a small little clicking sound, and that will show us that there's power now to the coach. So now from here, from that spot, we'll be able to turn on or open up our awning. So now that our inverter's on, let's open up that awning. So there's two different ways to do it. We've got a hard panel that's located right here by the entry. We also have a remote. The remote's really nice because then you can get on out, and if you're parked a little bit closer to someone, you can still open it on up. You can also stop it at certain increments. So that's really nice to have. Don't want to lose this. It's on a nice little magnet, so please keep that in mind. So we will go ahead and get this open. Okay, so now I am going to run the awning out. I've got my remote here. One of the unique things about the DX3 and the DynaQuest XL is that it has the roof integrated awning. So it gives it a nice sleek look, but it also protects the awning really nicely from the elements. So I am just going to first hit the unlock button. Then I'm going to hit the out button. And we'll let that run. If at any time I wanted to stop the awning, so I only wanted it to run out just a little bit, say I'm parked close to someone, I can just hit the stop button and then it'll stop it automatically. We'll continue to run this all the way out. Another really nice thing about the awning is that it has a dual pitch to it. So as we come along on the side, you can see how it sheds water very nicely. There also is not an arm on either side. So sometimes you'll see an arm that supports, it's a big bracket. This is really nice because you can walk through and not have to worry about your head getting cracked by that awning bracket. Next, what I'll do is I'll turn on some of my outside lights. So that'll be on the inside by my panel.
With the awning out, to do the lights, you're going to go to your Firefly switch panel here. You'll see awning. You'll press that and you'll see that your lights go on. Now anytime you see a toggle up and down, that tells you that that light is dimmable. So I can press and hold that button and those lights are going to dim for the awning. Let go, press again, they're going to start popping back up. When you have lights at different levels of dim throughout the coach, to get everything back to full intensity, you'll just press and hold the master light on switch and that'll pop everything back on. So I got my awning light on now. If I want to put on my porch light and my lit entry handle, I'll press this button here and now we're ready to go. The last thing we're going to do is press this step lock switch here so that when the doors either open or shut, that step's going to stay put and not retract. Well, when the awning's out and you need to leave in a hurry, don't worry. Your awning will auto retract once you start the engine.
All right, the last part of getting set up for the campground is to make sure that your refrigerator is running. Right here, we're in a DX3 that happens to have the new 15 cubic foot 12 volt refrigerator option. The nice thing about this is that you don't have to run your inverter with it. It is compressor driven, so it will cool very quickly. But there is a couple things that you need to make sure to have it operate correctly. There is also a residential refrigerator option that will need the inverter to operate correctly. So just like when we turn the inverter on to operate the awning, keep that inverter on to have your refrigerator work. That is just like your house. It's a residential style refrigerator, so you don't need to really play around with any of the buttons that I'm going to show you here that you would need for the 12 volt variety refrigerator. So here we've got the Norcold refrigerator. It's again a 15 cubic foot. It's really nice and spacious. So we've got 2 open doors up at the top and then 1 larger freezer door. Tons of storage on the inside here, but we need to make sure that it's going to be on. Right here, if you see the blue button, that will say that it is on. And again, once you hit the disconnect switch by the entry door that we started for this video, that will trigger this to be able to turn on. If you need to make any adjustments, it's pretty easy. The bottom part right here, this would be for your freezer. So you hit your freezer, and then it'll flash of what temperature that you want it at. 1 is the warmest, 5 is the coldest. So we're gonna adjust that to 5. And then over here, if we wanted to make this, this for the upper part, which is the fridge, we'd hit the fridge button, hit the fridge button again, and then we can adjust that temperature. So we'll put it right in the middle at 3. The last button right here is going to be the night button. So if we would hit that button and we hold it on down, the 8 is flashing, and that will give us a shut off after 8 hours. So that's one way to be able to preserve some battery. So again, with this refrigerator, it's very well insulated. So a lot of times you won't need that refrigerator to constantly be running. So that's a great way to conserve your battery. All right, so now we are most of the way set up for our DX3 and our DynaQuest XL. Please consult our other videos that show how to hook up your fresh water and ultimately when you leave, how to drain your tanks and pump those tanks. You can also consult your owner's manual if you have any other questions in regard to the setup of this vehicle.
Another great resource for owners is going to be our social media platforms. Forest River Forums is a great resource. We have a ton of owners on there willing to give insight, help with troubleshooting. Our GM, Brian Clemens, is actually on there averaging over 3 posts a day. And we're also on there as well. So we monitor those heavily. You have a lot of direct access to us as you troubleshoot any issues. Also on Facebook, there's the Dynamax Owners Group official page. We monitor that every day as well, and that's another great group of owners ready to help you if you run into any problems. Well, thank you for your time today. Have a good one.